Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user Heat Spammer. That's Heat Spammer, and he's driving the FV215b 183 on an encounter battle on Erlenberg. So everybody knows that this is the tier 10 tank destroyer for the British. It has that absolutely brilliant troll cannon there. You all know what it's capable of. If you don't know what it's capable of, then sit back, relax, and prepare for some hilarity. This video is just all about the big numbers and celebrating being able to punch people so hard in the face that their ancestors feel it. So Heat Spammer going to be heading all the way down this left-hand side here. Finds another FV out there. Not taking a shot there, because if you may notice at the bottom of the screen, it only has 12 rounds, this thing. So it doesn't even carry enough ammunition to be able to take out the entire enemy team. So you've really got to be careful with every shot. But as you see, when you are careful with every shot, then you do 1300 damage and get one shot, one kill on a lurver. So excellent first shot of the game. As you see, they're taking out the lurver real quick. But like I said, this thing doesn't carry enough ammunition to be able to wipe out the entire enemy team. So you do have to pick your shots and be very careful with them. Oh, this guy is in trouble. He's got a turret facing in the wrong direction. 1,427 damage. Absolutely massive hit there. Tough day for lurvers, I think he says in the chat, and I think he may be correct. If we take a look at the ammunition here, it does have 275 pen and 1,750 damage, and it does act like HE rounds, so even if it doesn't penetrate, it is still going to do some damage. It's what's called HESH ammunition, which is high explosive squash head, which basically what it does is it hits the armor with such force that it forces a blister of steel off the inside, which just basically liquefies the crew and the internal parts of the tank. So this HESH ammunition is nasty stuff. If you don't believe me, then just go ahead and Google it and you can see what kind of damage this stuff can do to a tank. Gets a hit on the Waffenträger there for only 800 damage. Say only 800 damage. Finds an E3 here. Going to be taking his time on that one. Not quite getting a decent shot on him. Only doing about 534 damage, which isn't great for this gun. Hit a thick part of the armor there. And then relocating. So while this thing has got a ridiculous cannon, it's also got a decent amount of hit points itself. Sitting at 2,000. It's not got the greatest armor, but then again, it doesn't really need armor. I'm just going to come around the corner here. Getting let down a little bit by his gun depression. Had a shot on the IS-3, but the IS-3 was just backing off with enough speed there. You can see enemy tanks scattering to the four corners there as they see the FV183 come around the corner there and try and set himself up for a shot. But IS-3 is backing off, but it looks like he's in cover and he is safe. That KV-4 is sort of tucked in against the wall there. He doesn't really want to back off and he can't really advance forward just because he's got tanks all around him here. Heat Spammer going to come up and try and get himself hulled down to get a shot on this KV-4. Sets himself up in a kind of side-scraping position. KV-4 rushes his shot and bounces. There's nothing he can do. He's angling his armor, but it's not going to make any difference as Heat Spammer gets 1,300 damage on him and picks up kill number 3. So it's no good really angling your tank against this thing. Well, it makes a little bit of difference. If you can make the effective thickness of your armor thick enough, then the shot is only going to do HE splash damage. But, oh, finds his counterpart here. And his counterpart's been lying in wait, waiting for the opportunity to take that shot. Heat Spammer going to also take his shot and gets, 1,800 damage in return and sets him on fire. But obviously, with the FV being such an expensive machine, his counterpart there had an automatic fire extinguisher. If he didn't, that would have been curtains for him, as Heat Spammer caused 1,903 damage and he only has 2,000 hit points. Looks like this E50M is going to get out of there in time. Luckily for him, Heat Spammer hadn't quite reloaded, but as you see here, he's only fired 7 shots and he's done 7,200 points of damage so far. So already having a monster game, but only got 6 rounds of ammunition left. So this flank is going pretty damn well here. Going to come around and flank around the side of this E50M. The other FV's been taken out now. Didn't quite see who managed to get the kill on that. E50M starts to flee after bouncing his shot on the FV and isn't able to get back in time. And he becomes victim number 4 for 1,297 damage. That E50M was caught between a rock and a hard place there. He had an E100 closing in from the rear. What he really should have done is took a little bit more time with his shot, or 2, just try to run past the FV. Because he couldn't back off because the E100 and that Lorraine 40 ton coming in from behind. So his only real chance was to try and use his speed to sneak past the FV there. As you see, the gun on this thing isn't fantastically accurate. Trying to pick out a shot on the side of this mouse here. Gets 547 damage, which is no mean feat because the mouse is a heavily armored beast. But like I said earlier, the ammunition on this thing acts a lot like HE, so even if a shot bounces and doesn't penetrate, it's still going to do some damage. Just waiting for the reticule to close in here. The accuracy of this gun, not great. Just going to try and pick out a shot. Oh, misses his first shot of the game. That one just flying a little bit high and a little bit wide over the mouse there. And in this thing, you really can't afford to miss. As you can see with that miss, he's only got 3 rounds left. And there's 5 enemy tanks remaining. Of course, he could just splash them to death. So obviously, the splash radius on... Well, I don't think these rounds actually have a splash radius. So, probably not going to be able to splash them to death. Does have a shot on the rear of the mouse. But it wasn't a great shot as he was backing off. So, that one would have almost certainly missed, as the travel time on these shells is quite large. So going to have to rely on his team here to do some good work, which indeed they are. The Lover takes out the IS-3. And they've got 2 other tank destroyers up on that ridge. It looks like the FV215b and the Jagdtiger up there. They're both going to be able to just lay waste to that Centurion 7-1 any second now. Heat Spammer going to get up on the ridge here. Going to try and finish off that mouse, hopefully, or get a rear shot on somebody else. As you see, finds the side of the turret of this STI. Gonna take his time because that STI's turret's angled ever so slightly badly for him. He's trying to get more of a flat shot against it. As you can see, the STI just positioned. There we go. There's the flat armor, and there is the kill. So as you see, really taking his time with the shot there, waiting for the STI's turret to be flat on rather than angled in his direction. And that just guaranteed the penetration there and guaranteed 1,531 points of damage and kill number 5. And that's GG and the victory for 10,500 points of damage. So absolutely awesome replay there from Heat Spammer. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Stick around because as always, the score screens and another awesome game are coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user Le Malina. That's Le Malina. And he's driving the E75 on a standard battle on the Tundra. E75, Tier 9, heavy tank for the Germans. Now, I know I feature quite a lot of the E75 on this channel, as I drive it quite often myself on the live stream. And I've shown quite a few replays of this tank as well. But just every now and then, a replay comes along when you watch it and you just think, yes. Yes, this is great, and I want to show you a video of it. So that is one of these replays. I watched it and immediately just thought, yes, this has to be a video. This has to be featured. So deciding to bring you this right now to follow that brilliant FV183 replay. One thing I will say though is, after this one, you can probably expect a tail off of E75 replays for a while. If you were thinking about sending an E75 replay in, if it's not the greatest in the world, I'll say it's probably not going to get featured for a while. I'm going to give it a rest on the E75 for a bit, and that probably even includes videos of myself from the live stream. Well, you might have one more, because I played a pretty troll game in the E75. from yesterday's live stream. But anyway, on to this replay. Le Malina going to be taking the hill here. No idea if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, but to me, in English, it looks like Le Malina. So going to be taken to the hill, which he should be doing as a heavy. Although decides that hill may not be for him. And then has another change of heart as he sees the KV4 come into view. Thinks, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. And angles himself back around. Just trying to find the best position for himself. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the fully upgraded cannon. Just going to go and check that. No, he doesn't. He has the Tiger 2's cannon. So that's why he's got a 7.7 second reload here. Doesn't have the top cannon for this thing. But the thing about the cannon is, it still has it still has a really good DPM because of the rate of fire. Still does half decent alpha damage and still has half decent penetration if you know your weak spots. See, they're just switching to HE ammunition to try and get a hit on that Rheinmetall, but Rheinmetall just fades out of view, so unfortunately not going to be able to use that HE ammunition just yet. So the DPM of this gun, when you know weak spots, is still pretty damn good. And it can really catch people off guard when they expect you to have sort of a 12 or 13 second reload on that cannon, and then you reload it in sort of half the time. You can generally catch people with the trousers down. So we're going to come around here and try and school this IS-8 as he comes up. As you see, the IS-8 got his armor angled totally incorrectly there. He's presenting the side of that front plate, and that's just a nice flat plate for Le Malina to just penetrate there. And although he doesn't have the fully upgraded cannon, it is still an E75, so his armor is still supreme. He's going to be taking on a KV4 here. Unfortunately, the KV4 is showing almost nothing but side armor there, and the side armor of that KV4 is pretty thick. You see the IS-8 making a move to get behind the rocks there, and again, he probably got caught out by the reload of the E75's cannon here. Thought that he probably had 4 or 5 seconds longer than he actually did, and I think he's making the same mistake again. Pops himself out here and probably thinks he's got a lot longer than he has. And as we see, he's already reloaded and ready to dish damage back to the IS-8. The IS-8 decided better of it and fell back there. As the Jagdtiger was falling back, he was able to take him out as well. IS-8 coming round for the kill, but again, he's totally misjudged the reload, and he gets himself taken out as well. So maybe a good idea, actually, to load the Tiger 2's top cannon on this thing, as it is catching people totally off guard here. Makes one of his first mistakes of the game here, presents full side armor to that KV4, who just punishes him by putting a shot straight through it there. But he's going to use the corpse of this fallen IS-8 now. But unfortunately, side armor of that KV4 way too strong. Not able to sneak a shot through there. Going to try one more time maybe. Looks like he's taken out the track, but I'm not quite able to see with the amount of thick smoke that there is around here. Nope, still got his track. Now he decides to switch up to that machine gun port on the top of the turret and finally able to get a penetrating hit. Looks like the KV4 hasn't realised where he's been penetrated, so he is still out in the open. Maybe if he takes one more hit, he may decide to start hiding that weak spot, and there we go. Starts trying to get the machine gun port back behind that rock. It looks like he's done a good job of hiding that one, but he's not quite hit it enough. Well, no, now he has, but the downside of having hid that machine gun port that much is that he can't get a shot himself. And he's still got the side of that turret slightly exposed. Just got to keep an eye on this AMX to his left here, as he wants to angle for both of them, as he doesn't really want to take some free damage from that AMX. And if that AMX makes a mistake and pokes up too far, he wants to be able to punish him. KV4 not realising that the flat front of his turret is exposed. Able to get a good hit on him. And a rock forwards and backwards. His cannon's pretty much reloaded, and again taking the KV4 by surprise there. KV4 not realising that he's going to be reloaded, which he was, and he was able to finish him off and pick up kill number 3. So now we've still got somebody over on that right hand side. It's probably that T69. Gets a good hit on that ISU there. So he's still got about 1,000 hit points left himself, but it's just him and this T29 left against 7 enemy tanks here. So this is going to be a bit of a struggle to come back from this one. Doing very good holding this hill here. Gets his reload off and gets another good hit on that ISU 152, and that T29 helping out there and finishing him off. This AMX is caught out in the open, and that was a nice high roll to be able to take him out here. Going to head around the corner to try and take out this Chi-Ri. As you can see, the enemy team still got artillery, and that Chi-Ri's not going to have a very good time of trying to penetrate this E75. Taking some hits here from this T69, 3 penetrating hits in a row. Fourth one finally bounced, I think, there, to leave him with just 300 hit points. So he's one shot for a lot of these tanks here left. That T69 obviously going to be reloading now. This Chi-Ri still caught down the hill here. And this T54 is now flanking around from behind. Luckily for Molina, he's only got 31 hit points. Artillery lands close by. And that T29 able to get a supreme shot to take that T54 out. So looking at it, I thought that T29 was going to be a burden, but it looks like he's actually doing some work here and helping out. Molina going to be heading up the hill to try and take a more advantageous position. Just keeping his gun pointed in this direction for when that Chi-Ri comes into view, we can get a hit on him. Got to be careful here because he's got his rear and side armor pointed towards that Chi-Ri. But it looks like he's going to get away with that one scot-free. Not really sure what the Chi-Ri's doing, not punishing him for pointing his rear armor totally towards him. Hasn't taken a shot yet. Not really sure what he's thinking. Oh, very lucky there to bounce a shot from that T29 on his rear armor, but that T29 still got full hit points, although unfortunately for the T29 he's got that stock turret and that stock gun. But what he can do for his team is just spot for his other tanks and for the artillery to be able to rain down death on top of Molina here, who's up against 4 tanks on his own. Lands a good shot through the front of the T29 there, and really, this T69 and this Chi-Ri should be closing him down now. All 3 of them should be attacking him at once and giving him absolutely nowhere to run to, so that that GW Panther can just rain death down from the skies. As it is, it looks like they're all just deciding to attack him one at a time, and there's no way that this T29 or... well, that T69 could, but there's no way the T29 is going to be able to penetrate him. This T69 having 4 really bad shots there. With the angle of the E75 on that hill, really that T69 should have come up alongside him, used his speed and agility to get up the hill, and had some shots on the rear there. The Chi-Ri having a shot as he backs off, but I think he realizes that there's no way he's going to be able to penetrate the front armor of an E75, and he just resigned to his fate now. This T69 still down the hill reloading. Got to be careful because that GW Panther is on the left-hand side. I don't think that T69 is going to be reloaded in time, and indeed he is not. And that just leaves Molina against this GW Panther. I'm not sure if the Panther realizes he's been spotted. Should realize now that he's been spotted and should be starting to make a move for it, but he isn't. I think, again, he thinks that the E75's reload is a lot longer than it actually is, and he's able to pick up the kill on the GW Panther with just 1 AP round remaining. So absolutely awesome battle there from Molina in the end, picking up 7,500 points of damage, probably 8,000 because I think he got a couple of blind hits there, and 8 kills, and standing alone against 4 enemy tanks there. So absolutely awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, then send that into replay@screenreality.com. Link for that is in the description. If you found this video useful, informative, or just enjoyable, definitely leave me a like, favorite, and stick a comment in the comment section below. If you're not already, then definitely hit that subscribe button, because there's a lot more content like this in the future. I have been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.